Ever wondered how ancient Africa became the vibrant, diverse continent it is today? A huge part of that story involves two incredible groups of people, the Bantu and the Khoikhoi. Often historically called the Hottentots, their journeys, interactions, and innovations shaped the very soul of southern Africa. Let's travel back in time, thousands of years ago, to uncover their fascinating history. Picture this. Around 3,000 to 5,000 years ago, in a region near modern-day Cameroon and Nigeria, a linguistic and cultural revolution was quietly beginning. This was the homeland of the Proto-Bantu speakers. These weren't just people with a shared language, they were pioneers with a game-changing toolkit. They had mastered ironworking, a skill that was like having a superpower in the ancient world. Iron tools meant stronger axes to clear dense forests and better hoes to cultivate the land. And they were farmers. They grew crops like yams and oil palms, which provided a stable food source. This agricultural know-how meant they could support larger populations than the hunter-gatherer groups around them. With a growing population and powerful technology, they began to move. This wasn't a single, massive invasion, but a slow, steady wave of migration that would unfold over centuries, known as the Bantu expansion. Imagine small family groups, pioneers really, branching out. They'd follow river valleys or travel along the coasts, seeking new, fertile lands. As they moved south and east, they carried their knowledge with them, their iron tools, their farming techniques, and of course, their languages. This is why today, hundreds of languages across Central, Eastern, and Southern Africa, from Swahili to Zulu to Xhosa, all share a common Bantu root. It's one of the most remarkable linguistic footprints in human history. Now, let's shift our focus to the southern tip of the continent, long before the Bantu speakers arrived. This land was home to the Khoisan peoples. This group is actually made up of two distinct but related peoples, the San, who were traditionally hunter-gatherers, and the Khoikhoi, who were pastoralists. The term Hottentot was a derogatory name given by early European settlers, so today we respectfully use their self-identified name, Khoikhoi, which means men of men or the real people. The Khoikhoi were masters of their environment. Unlike the farmers who tilled the land, the Khoikhoi were herders. Their wealth and livelihood were in their vast herds of fat-tailed sheep and longhorn cattle. This pastoralist lifestyle meant they were semi-nomadic, moving with their animals in search of fresh grazing lands and water. They lived in portable, dome-shaped huts made of reed mats laid over a wooden frame, which could be easily dismantled and moved. Their social structure was organized around clans and kinship, with chiefs leading their communities. They had a deep, spiritual connection to the land and the sky, with rich oral traditions, myths, and beliefs that explained the world around them. Their language is famous for its distinct clicking sounds, a feature that makes it one of the most unique linguistic families on the planet. For thousands of years, the Khoikhoi thrived in southern Africa, their lives dictated by the seasons and the needs of their precious livestock. Then, around 2,000 years ago, the first waves of Bantu-speaking migrants began to arrive in the region. The meeting of these two worlds, the iron-wielding farmers and the nomadic herders, is a crucial chapter in Africa's story. So what happened when they met? It wasn't a simple story of conquest, but a complex tapestry of interaction, trade, conflict, and cultural exchange. In some areas, the encounter was peaceful. The Bantu farmers, with their pottery and iron goods, had things the Khoikhoi wanted. The Khoikhoi, with their livestock, had something the Bantu speakers desired. Trade flourished. They exchanged goods, ideas, and even genetics. Evidence of this exchange is literally written in the languages. Some Bantu languages in southern Africa, like Xhosa and Zulu, incorporated the click consonants from the Khoisan languages. This is a powerful linguistic clue that these groups didn't just live side by side, they truly mixed and mingled, marrying into each other's families and adopting parts of each other's cultures. The Bantu peoples learned valuable herding techniques from the Khoikhoi, adding cattle to their agricultural economy. This created a new, mixed farming lifestyle that was incredibly successful. However, the interaction wasn't always peaceful. As more Bantu speakers moved south, competition for resources like land and water inevitably led to conflict. The Bantu groups, with their larger populations supported by agriculture and their superior iron weapons, often had the upper hand. In many areas, Khoikhoi communities were displaced, pushed into more arid regions like the Kalahari Desert, or were absorbed into the growing Bantu-speaking societies. This process unfolded over 1,000 years, fundamentally reshaping the demographic map of southern Africa. By the time the first European ships rounded the Cape of Good Hope in the 15th century, the region was a dynamic mosaic of peoples. There were established Bantu-speaking kingdoms with sophisticated social and political structures. There were resilient Khoikhoi clans still maintaining their pastoral way of life, particularly in the arid western parts of the Cape. And there were communities that were a blend of both traditions. The arrival of Europeans introduced a new, and ultimately devastating, dynamic. Both the Khoikhoi and the Bantu-speaking peoples faced colonization, land dispossession, and immense hardship. The Khoikhoi, being in the direct path of the earliest Dutch settlements at the Cape, were particularly affected. New diseases, to which they had no immunity, decimated their populations, and colonial policies systematically dismantled their societies and took their land and livestock. Despite the immense pressures of both the Bantu expansion and European colonization, the legacy of the Khoikhoi endures. It lives on in the DNA of many Southern Africans, in the click sounds of languages like Xhosa, and in the archaeological sites that whisper tales of their ancient way of life. The story of the Bantu and the Khoikhoi is not a simple tale of one group replacing another. It's a nuanced and deeply human story of migration, adaptation, and interaction. The Bantu expansion was one of the most significant migrations in human history, spreading iron, agriculture, and a family of languages across a continent. The Khoikhoi were the original pastoralist masters of southern Africa, a people with a unique culture and a deep connection to the land. Their meeting created the cultural bedrock of modern southern Africa. It's a reminder that history is never static. People move, cultures meet, and new societies are born from the complex interplay of cooperation and conflict. Understanding this ancient past is key to understanding the rich, complex, and beautiful diversity of Africa today. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into history, and share your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time.